Hi guys, so today I'd like to talk about um, this opening where white approach from this side of the board and black plays one space pincer. So this one space pincer is recommended by AI, but if you don't know how to play it correctly, you could run into some challenges. So if we were to play this one space pincer with the old Joseki. So here, black obviously blocks this side because black is interested in developing the right side of the board. If we played the old Joseki where black plays this connection, and say black wants to build like a double wing formation around this corner enclosure, then turns out black has some serious issue with this old one space pincer Joseki, and that is white can now immediately play the descent. So now black has a few choices, but I'd say the most obvious one is to disconnect white from the corner. So say black plays Hane. Then here white simply just plays a Tari, and white has nice Sabaki Tetsuji, which is this attachment. So basically here, whatever black plays, black is most likely going to get over concentrated. For example, say black plays a descent. Here, white just needs to lightly jump out. Say black extends to ensure killing all white stones, and white just jump. And then this side, you can immediately see that there's not a lot of potential left for black, and black has only captured this amount of territory. So this is quite slow for black, not very efficient. Say black wants to be more aggressive, plays a Hane. Here, turns out white has a really nice move. Turns out this tiger's mouth is a good enough for white. Here, if black wants to kill everything, then he would need an Atari here and a tiger's mouth to completely seal white from the outside. So here, white can choose to live on the second line by keep pushing, but turns out there's a better result than that. First, white can generate cutting points, and then white can cut here. And it turns out that if black extends, white has a really good sequence to give up these stones with a cut. First, create some Aji. Black here, these three stones are about to die, so black must save his stones. Black extends, and then white can squeeze black here into a really ugly shape. And then white connects. So now white is aiming at two things. White is aiming at just shorting liberties of this entire dragon, or playing a net to capture black's cutting stones. So let's say black plays one. Let's say black focuses on the capturing race. White has 1, 2, 3, 4 external liberties and 1 shared liberty, and black has 1, 2, 3, 4 external liberties, 1 shared liberty. So we know that whoever plays first is going to win. So now it's black's turn. Black can simply start this capturing race. But before white starts the capturing race sequence, white can first take some sente moves and force black to capture. Black captures, and you can see white has a wall that extends all the way to the center, whereas black only captured these little stones. So this result is really bad for black. So if black does not capture, say black plays like a jump, then white just immediately kills this entire group, because whoever plays first will get to capture. So this is a really bad result for black. Say black want wants to improve this by killing white even faster. White has another really nice Tetsuji. Black now needs to run these 2 stones. And then now, white can once again use this bad Aji. White can play a wedge. This threatens a cut here, which captures these cutting stones. So black needs to defend. And then white once again will die here. But white gets a nice Atari. And then white has already built a nice wall here. So white can just develop this potential. And these 4 stones are still really effective in terms of reducing black's potential. So this result is still really good for white. So basically the most aggressive move, the Hane, that attempts to kill everything, indeed does kill everything, but it's not very favorable for black nonetheless. So we talked about extend, Hane, and if it's black plays a more defensive move, white can just descend. If black extends, then white gets a nice extension. Or if black approaches, white can locally make life here. Oh, yeah. So white is, I'd say, 90% alive here. And black actually owes a move to settle this group. So basically, whatever black plays here, whatever black plays here locally, is not going to be, black is either going to be over concentrated, or white can give up some stones to build nice influence. And therefore, this Joseki is actually pretty bad for black. But the one space pincer was still recommended by Leela because at this point, instead of playing this move, which resulted in bad Aji, Leela would recommend playing this extension. And obviously white has to jump. And this locally, yeah, it doesn't have any more Aji. The cut doesn't work. Yeah, and it's basically a much more stable position as opposed to the old traditional Joseki playing like this. And if you can imagine, if this stone were like a 2-space pincer instead, or 3-space pincer instead, the Aji here is probably even more severe. So I just want to say that in this situation, pincering is fine, but there's a very specific reason why black would pincer with a 1-space low pincer, because after white invades the corner, black can get really a very nice shape without bad Aji. And the other pincers are not nearly as favored by Leela. Okay, so for the 2-space pincers, Leela has shown some pretty interesting use of the Aji. So let's look at the low 2-space pincer first. We still go to the corner. Well, first of all, black can no longer extend here because white has too much Aji in terms of even extension, attachment, and actually, yeah, the cut here is potentially pretty severe, unlike the 1-space extension. So black cannot play like this to improve the Aji anymore. So black's only move here, or the preferred move, is actually this. Say black still tries to build a double wing around this corner enclosure. Turns out here, the really interesting move that Leela came up with to use this Aji is the large knight's move. So this is basically aiming for a clamp. So black really does need to respond right now, and if black just responds like with a typical Hane, white potentially can get this really nice block to significantly increase the influence on the top side. And if black tries to cut white, now here is when the Aji really comes in. White can Hane here. If black captures, then you can see that this stone is already kind of hurt. Yeah, white can potentially descend and hurt the stone pretty badly. White also has the option to just Hane on this side and develop the top side. Say black does not play the Tari but plays the clamp instead, then white has another way to use the Aji, as to connect. Black tries to wedge, but there's a double Atari. Black connects, and then white connects. And you can see that this group is already almost cut off from black here. Here, black cannot connect, otherwise he will be completely sealed in. It will be really dangerous. But black can extend. Here, white should just cut here. Don't capture. If you capture, you're allowing black to connect. Here, after you cut, black cannot save this cutting stone, so white is actually still connected. In fact, black is about to die, so black must connect through the second line. And then here, white can push a little bit. Tari capture. And here, black needs to defend this cutting point. And then you can see how white completely defends the corner and has a grip on top of these two cutting stones. And I'd say white is doing pretty well. Yeah, white successfully used the Aji pretty well. So it's pretty interesting to see how the large knights move, even though it's really far away from the stone. It was able to make good use of this Aji. We also look at the 2-space high pincer real quick. Say black still tries to do the double wing for this corner enclosure here. The same move still works, large and nice move. And say black plays a typical Hane, then this is a really obvious move that will hurt black pretty badly. Black plays a Tari, white plays a Tari. Yeah, black stone is really hurt here. Here, if black plays clamp, white can give up some stones. Here's a double Atari again. Notice how ugly black's shape is. And here, white can just play a tiger's mouth. Black gets a peep. And then black has really ugly shape, but captured the 3 cutting stones. And now white can kind of use the Aji of these 3 cutting stones and create invasion opportunities here. As you can see, black's territory is very limited, and white actually is in a pretty good shape to, destroy black's right side potential. So this is certainly a pretty good result for white. So I think that's all for the Aji of this stone regarding the 1-space pincer, 1-space low pincer, 2-space high and low pincers. Yeah, thanks for watching.